Hi guys, today I'm going to show you how I made salmon cakes in my solar oven. On this particular day, I made two different projects, and I am noticing that we are coming on to the fall hours, and that means less sunlight. And also the sun is lower in the sky than it is during the summer. And I am noticing already that this is making a difference from just a few months ago when I started cooking in like the heat of the summer. So, these are just some notes to make about solar oven cooking is coming into the winter months, you can still cook. It doesn't matter how cold it is outside as long as you have clear sun. However, you're going to have less sun available and it's going to be lower in the sky. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to kind of allude to it today, and then in the coming videos and months, I'm going to show you what you do to compensate for that. Anyways, this is my video on making salmon cakes, and I multitasked. I was making another project at the same time. I'm going to make a video about that project next because I did them both in the same day. So anyways, these are the ingredients that I used. I kind of went off of a recipe online, but I can't find it anymore, so I'm sorry. Anyways, I added paprika, a sweet pepper, and then this little one is a red jalapeno. And then you can see I have some Chick-fil-A sauces. I don't like having a lot of clutter, but I also don't like throwing things away if you can use them. So, I like to incorporate things like anything that is possible to incorporate into things. I like to add it in. I have Duke's mayonnaise because I live in the South and it's pretty much sacrilegious to use any other mayonnaise. A red onion, some lemon juice, an egg, butter, salt, a can of pink salmon, and then that in the back is a loaf of bread that I actually did make in my solar oven a few days ago that I'm going to use for breadcrumbs. All right, so the first step was, of course, to saute my vegetables in a little bit of the butter, onions, and then I cut up the peppers, and I just had that sauteing while I mixed the other ingredients together. I added my little packets of Chick-fil-A sauce and then an egg. And then I added all the other ingredients as well as crumbling up my bread and adding butter, all the other ingredients. So I mixed it up like this, and let me see if I can remember the measurements for my different things. I think I used maybe a teaspoon of paprika, added up between the 4 sauces that you see plus the mayonnaise. I think that was a fourth of a cup, and then a tablespoon of lemon juice. You're supposed to use a cup of breadcrumbs and 3 tablespoons of butter, a teaspoon of salt, and then that can of salmon. So I think those were my measurements, but I kind of just eyeball stuff, so that probably was not exact. But anyways, you mix them together, and basically if you find your own favorite recipe online, you can pretty much go with that. I don't ever give you exact measurements just because I don't really ever follow exact measurements. I just eyeball things, and I feel bad if I give you exact measurements and it turns out to be wrong. Anyways, I mixed up all my ingredients and I set it in the refrigerator to chill just to make sure that it wouldn't fall apart while I was portioning it out into patties. While that was chilling in the refrigerator, I went up and set my Haynes 2.0 solar oven on my back porch. Now, I want to make a note here that normally on a summer day, the sun starts creeping onto my back porch around 11 o'clock. But this is an 11 o'clock on this particular day. You can see it's not even close to coming. It actually didn't end up starting to creep onto my porch until 12 o'clock. So already I'm losing an hour of cooking time just because the way the sun is coming up now. So that's just something to keep in mind. If you have projects that need to cook all day, make sure that they are either, like if I set this up out in the yard, you can see out there it's got full sun. So that's just something to think about if you're cooking on a back patio or a back porch or something like I typically do. You're going to have less sun because the sun is rising lower in the sky. All right, so anyways, I just left that set up out there just so that whenever the sun started to creep into it, it could start heating up. Meanwhile, I went inside to do some other things. One of the things I did was like portion the mixture onto this pizza pan, and then I flattened them all into patties with a spoon. I was actually, during this time, because the sun again was still not on my back porch, I went ahead and mixed up my second project, which I will show you. It should be coming up next in the next video. I make salmon chowder in the next video. So anyways, all of this stuff didn't happen quite in sequence, but anyways, I like to multitask. So eventually the sun started to creep into my solar oven, and I set the salmon patties out there, and I let them cook for an hour and a half. And when I went out, I noticed that these patties that were more toward the back of the oven were brown, whereas the patties back here were still a little pink. So I flipped the pan in the oven and let them bake for another half hour. And then at that point they were done. So it took about 2 hours for this. Again, in the summer, it probably would take an hour to an hour and a half, but we're losing that direct overhead sun. So you're going to have to like tweak your calculations a little bit. Make sure that you can just kind of eyeball it and keep an eye on it. And whenever they're done, they're done. All right, so here's my salmon chowder that I'll show you in my next video, but I just wanted to show you this is what they look like after 2 hours. They're nice and brown, but you'll notice that they're not, well, I'll show you a better picture here. They're not crispy, okay? So typically when you have salmon patties, you like to have that like nice, very dark brown, crispy look. They're not crispy. However, I do want to show you the texture of them. But I just want to mention that what I did with these, I wasn't planning on eating them for dinner that night. I was just making these ahead of time because the next couple of days are going to be rainy and cloudy. So I go ahead and I make a bunch of food. When I see that the weather is reporting that the next few days are going to be rainy, I make as much food as I possibly can on my sunny day. So what I did is I just stacked them and put them in this dish. Now you can see, even though they're not crispy, they are holding together. So let's look at that again. I just want you to see they're not falling apart or anything. So they are cooked and they're ready. All I have to do is just stick them in a toaster oven for maybe 5 minutes and they'll be perfectly ready. So that should give you an idea of something to do. It's quick and easy. When I say it's quick and easy, putting it together is really quick and easy. It does take a little time to cook in the solar oven, but you don't have to stand over a hot stove. You can like go inside and do something. You can read a book, You don't have to stand over and baby it or anything. So you can get other things done. That's what I really like about the solar oven is you just kind of set it and forget it and come back in a few hours and whatever you put in there is finished. So anyways, thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next video because I'm going to show you how to make salmon chowder and it's super delicious. So thank you for watching.